Hello. Um, the article I'm going to save you from is one where someplace they were losing their mining jobs, and it was close to towns where they had shipbuilding, and those jobs have gone, which was close to steelworks, and the steelworks jobs have gone. And the great thing that people were shouting is the government should have trained these people to be able to do other things. And I go, well, that's brilliant. How are you going to do that exactly? They're working in the coal mine, in the shipbuilding yard, and in the steel plant. How are you going to educate a 45-year-old that works in the steel plant to have the skills necessary to take up another job? Obviously you can't, because you can't tell them, well, you're going to lose your job soon anyway, so you better start retraining. You can't do that. You've got to wait till the jobs go. And then you've got your 45-year-old that needs retraining. What I'm saying is it's a slow old process. And it's got to be a process. And to a greater extent, it's got to be 90% that slow process, with the government might be able to do 5% on this side and 5% on this side. But basically, it's a slow old process that the old has just got to rattle and be so disgusting, and the old people that used to work there have got to rattle and be so disgusting that it all dies away, and a new generation comes up with new ideas to have the energy to take the old away and instill their new ideas and new things into the old places. It just can't be done quickly. I was going to say, unless you got a Chinese government that could just go, right, bulldoze the whole lot down, and now we'll build a plant that just is so massive and it just makes denim jeans or something. In other words, you can have a government that's so huge it can take care of a problem like shipbuilding, steel and coal going out of production, and can do something about it. Or you can have a government that is much more limited in its available scope of what it can do, and being limited in its available scope of what it can do, it can only do a very limited thing, and that means that it will take a generation or two for the old to die away. I was going to go straight on to what has been called the sharing what? Sharing industry, sharing community, sharing economy, that's the thing. This comment came to my eyes. I refuse to use automatic checkouts, so should everyone else. It's been inspired by the Amazon checkoutless new outlet. And the top comment replying to that, obviously the comment goes on a bit, but basically it says, I refuse to use automatic checkouts. I give 5 minutes of my time and support somebody that's got a job. The top comment is reply, and this solves what exactly? And that's about the point of it, isn't it, really? And you want to be with the top commenter and say, well, I use the things because that's going to make a difference if everybody does it. But everyone isn't going to do it. I remember going back to this coffee thing again. Never been to Starbucks, but I did the Costa Coffee one a couple of years ago when I had sat and had a Costa Coffee, and it was medium and expensive for me because I'm tight. Last year I didn't go into the Costa Coffee thing. I went to a coffee machine and made a bit of a cock up because I didn't get my plastic cup there in time, and I think half the contents of it wasn't coffee, it was cocoa, went all straight down the drain before I got there. So I got some hot milk on top of it, and so I got some slightly flavoured hot frothy milk anyway. And then I thought, well, this is very odd because I haven't paid. I thought I'm used to putting money in, and then I kind of worked out that I then have to take it to the man and pay the man. So I put it on his counter and paid him. And this girl just swans up. She'd obviously done the right thing with her machine. She swans up, just gets a phone out and goes wibble on his machine, and he doesn't look at her. She doesn't look at him. And she just goes beep beep on his beep beep machine, and she's off, and I'm still struggling with change to pay him and then get changed. And I've got this coffee. That what I'm saying is, she's not going to wait at the checkout. And the fellow that says, and this solves what exactly? The answer is basically, we could keep a few checkout jobs going a while longer, but the girl and her generation are going to swan in and use the automatic checkouts. And one thing I wanted to point out, and why I've been a bit quick with this opening bit, is to point out a difference in this sharing economy thing. You've got a leveraging. I'm trying to not use leveraging. An efficient use of resources. As in, you've got a mother that's children's gone away and husband's gone away, and she's got a house with 2 spare bedrooms, and she can, that's not the Uber, that's the other thing, she can rent out those 2 rooms and make some money out of it. And you could say, and meet some interesting people, and we've got to say good on her, she's making best use of her resources. On the other side are these people that are on very, very, very bad contracts to either come into work or not come into work on the call, just a call of management. Shocking. You can call that easy contracting or flexible or whatever it is, but all the power's with the person on the calling saying you come in or don't come in. It's shocking use of your resources. This is using a solid fixed resource that you happen to have that's unused. On this side, you've got your labour, which is a whole different ball game, and shouldn't be used in the same category, which it often is, as this. Now, if I knew the names for these sort of things, it'd be easier to say it. But this is one thing, which is using a fixed resource. This is using your labour, which is using yourself, which is, after you've been born and educated, it's all that you've really got going for you. And in between, you've got things like, it is Uber, isn't it? The taxi thing, where you can actually physically buy the car, the physical thing, and you use your labour, and it's kind of a mixture of this one and this one. You're using your labour and your car, which otherwise would be not being worked, to do a taxi job on call. And often what I'm saying is that this one and this one are used in the same, under the same heading, which is sharing economy, and they never should be. They are all particularly different ones, and it always should be highly noted how different it is when you are using your labour as anything. It's a very particular thing when you're using labour, and it is completely different to hiring out your fixed capital room over here. Your labour it's your last resource. It's crucial, it's essential, and it's absolutely everything. Leveraging a spare room is nothing in comparison with the importance of labour, which is vital for the well-being of a decent thinking person. And unfortunately, it's things like Uber in the middle which kind of gets the two put into the same category, and they never should be.